With me now is Greg Swenson, Chairman of Republicans Overseas. Greg, thank you so much for coming in.
Good to be here.
I'm really interested in this political aspect of it, because in the UK, whatever failings we may have in our judiciary, it's not politically appointed, and the Ministry of Justice cannot control prosecutions. But that's not quite the case in the US, is it? The judge was appointed by Obama,
right,
and the Department of Justice is under the control of a Biden appointee.
Yeah, it's difficult, and I think judges typically are appointed, have lifetime tenure. Many are appointed by Democrats, many Republicans. The problem is the Department of Justice. The Attorney General is appointed by the president. But what they try to do, and I think Trump did this very well with Bill Barr, is appoint people who have impeccable reputations and that will agree to exercise their department or their responsibilities without bias, without political bias. And I think Bill Barr did that very well. In fact, he quite deliberately did not bring any new cases against the opposition during an election year, which is tradition. Biden and his appointee have really been reckless in terms of trying to, to maintain fairness and equal application of the law. It really hasn't been good. And Merrick Garland, I think he should be impeached before they impeach Joe Biden.
And this is having an effect on Republicans who are in vast numbers now supporting Donald Trump, even if they didn't like him beforehand, that it has rallied the Republican Party like nothing else.
There's great sympathy. And I think, Trump's spokesperson who was on a little earlier talking about the odd timing of all this. Trump was only up 9 points over DeSantis before the Mar-a-Lago raid last summer, and the next week he was up 39. And then you've had, he got back to within 10 or 12 a few months ago, and then you had constant, executions of these either searches or indictments, and that's bumped up his numbers. So I think, frankly, I think the Democrats and the media in the U.S. want Trump to be the nominee.
So what effect is it having on that group in the middle who don't identify as Democrats or Republicans, the independents? Do they feel Trump's being set up, or do they feel he's basically a rogue?
It's really the former. They think he's being set up, and I think you can believe in two truths. You might not like Donald Trump, and many of us conservatives were very critical of him and his behavior. We thought it was irresponsible what he did after the election. We surely think it was irresponsible what he did on January 6th, but it wasn't criminal. And to use the courts to prosecute your political opponent is not very American. It's surely not very English either.
So there's quite a high risk that what the Democrats are doing could be counterproductive and is actually making it more likely Trump will win the presidential election in a year's time.
It could backfire on them. I mean, it's a chess game they're playing. It's a dangerous one because they're elevating him in the nomination process. They don't want to face Ron DeSantis. Many conservatives really love Ron DeSantis, but every time there's an indictment, Trump's numbers go up. It's hard to fight that. It also takes attention away from the other candidates.
Well, it also takes attention away from Hunter Biden and all that's going on with the president's son. But that's for another day. Thank you, Greg.